The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who, he just jumped through a wall backwards in reference to a glitch. Welcome, Jacob.
What was the fastest way to get through there, man? Come on. You know this.
Right at the bus. You right at the bus door, dude.
Hey,
I don't know why
you
it
want to cheat.
I don't know why it wouldn't open, but you're at the boss store.
Or I don't know.
Anyway.
Why, thank you. Let me introduce our co-host, a man who is out for revenge. Welcome, Drew.
Quotes. An episode of X-Men that we're reviewing tonight. Revenge is a dish best served cold. It is very cold in the Mushroom Kingdom. Slightly paraphrased. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a very long. It's like I went to the Arctic and came back. I wish he was that was the weird part of this episode. I was like, wait, isn't he from Canada?
He's technically in New York at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, and then he's all the way in the Antarctic.
It's like, I could be wrong about where the Eskimos live, but don't they live closer to Alaska?
It depends on the tribe.
I'm sure there's a ton of tribes I'm not really recognizing because I don't know stuff. But in my mind, they were all right over there by Alaska. So in my mind, he just like ran to the other side of the country just because he had a pout.
He does, but
Pouty Wolverine.
Pouty Wolverine. I'm gonna draw that
with the picture in his hand.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
I'm doing well.
We're just starting off off the top here.
Not talk about the actual what we're going to talk about in the first. We're talking about what we're talking about in the latter part of the episode. I'm doing well. Me and my wonderful girlfriend Ashley, we went to Gladewater, Texas. There's a lot of antique shops, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, she told me you took notes, so you'd remember this time.
Yes, I was writing furiously. It's like what shop we went into, what the street was, be like, what was she wearing, what she said, be like everything. Because no, I actually didn't do that, but
no,
that would have been funny.
Yeah,
because apparently I have bad memory sometimes, and
I'm just still picking at you because that was so funny last week.
It was. So yes, we went to Gladewater. This week has been a long day. It's a very, very long day. Very long week. Let's say a very long week. Productive, but long.
Mm-hmm.
Won't go into a whole lot of detail. We had an employee that had some issues and had to leave and never came back. And so I wound up having to do her job the entire day. So that was fun.
That's a shame.
It happens. So how's your week been?
It's been okay. Choir started back up this last Wednesday. So
good.
That was good.
I know you're always excited to do that.
Oh, yeah. Been kind of just a normal week at work, nothing too crazy.
Right. Cool.
So I guess that's all I have to talk about what I've been doing this week.
All right.
Like I said, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
So Jacob, I have a question for you.
All right.
What have you been watching?
Oh, what have I been watching? Oh, this was torment. This was absolute torment. I
kind of stepped in this puddle too because I thought this would make for good radio.
Yeah,
our discussion that was going to inevitably happen.
Yeah, for a podcast.
Yeah.
So obviously,
about the infamous release this week.
Yeah, of Velma from HBO Max, which is supposed to be part of the Scooby-Doo universe.
No, it's not.
So
it's not part of the Scooby-Doo universe.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We'll get there when we get there. So
it better not be, because it was absolute garbage.
Yeah, agreed. So I'd be like, I kept seeing reviews. I kept be like, IMDb had a score of 1.3 out of 10.
That tells you how bad it's performing.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. But like we like to talk about here on the Cellcast, where be like to have your own opinion about something.
Oh yeah.
So I talked to some people about it, and it's like, so are you gonna go watch it? It's like, okay, yeah, I'll watch it. So I watched it, I think it was on Tuesday night. I think I watched it on Tuesday. First 2 episodes are out. And this thing was abysmal. Terrible. Like, I'm talking, the writing was terrible. The characters themselves were terrible, except for Shaggy. Of course, because like I
have my opinions on Shaggy.
Right.
But continue.
Yeah.
I'll say my piece in this.
Well, I would say this, be like, he was probably the better of all the characters in the show.
He was probably the closest to what the character actually was like.
There we go.
That's the nicest thing I can say about it.
There was parts of it, because I watched the first 2 episodes. That was the only part out. Right now, as if you're watching right now, there's 3 episodes. By the time you listen to this, there should be there's
4 episodes when I looked at it last night.
Oh, 4 episodes.
Yeah, because apparently they're releasing in pairs.
Oh, okay. Double trouble then.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah, so it's not good. It's not good so far. It's Velma's origin story, and she is the most irritating, self-centered, hateful, judgmental character I have ever seen in my entire life. And then that's not even counting the rest of the cast, whom, in my personal opinion, I think Shaggy was or Norval. That's
they only call him Norval. We know that's going to be Shaggy. Just to get it out. It's like, I don't really care that they changed the races of some of the characters.
Right.
You do it right, I can live with it. You know, it's my issue really is Fred doesn't act like that.
No,
ever.
The way
Daphne does not act.
No,
like that.
Oh my gosh, no. Velma.
If Velma ever got angry, I can maybe see her, but at the same time, I still don't think that.
Yeah,
especially her backstory in this.
Right.
And like you said, Norbert is close.
Yeah.
He's probably the closest, but at the same time, I'm still sitting there going, Shaggy is not this stupid. Not really. He's a little focused on food, but we don't see him eat anything.
No, he does a food blog, but he never eats anything.
It's like his personality is close, but it's like not close enough.
Yeah.
Granted, if you were saying that this was if this wasn't supposed to be Scooby-Doo, like it was they were calling it something else, like I don't know, Jennifer.
Okay.
And it was about Jennifer setting up a mystery collecting thing, and it's very painfully obviously they're making a parody, not a parody, but a
homage,
a pastiche
there we go.
to the Scooby-Doo franchise.
Yeah.
Then the only thing we're missing is the fact that no one has that the dog has not shown up yet.
Right.
Skippy Flea or something. I don't know. If it was like that, it would be tolerable.
Yeah. But when
the fact is, it's Scooby-Doo because they are calling this person Velma. They're calling this person Norbert. They're calling this one Daphne. They're calling this one Fred. And you're obviously supposed to know who these people are.
Yeah.
And honestly, they only are those people if you're looking at a reflection of them in a carnival mirror.
Yeah, pretty much.
To be honest.
Oh, you're right.
That's my problem. It's like, I can see why. I can see the reflections of the actual characters, but it's heavily distorted.
Oh yeah, because none of these characters are likable.
I mean,
except for Norval.
The crew in Scoob wasn't this off.
No,
and there's plenty. We had plenty of problems with how they portrayed a lot of these characters in Scoob.
Yeah, I think the best portrayal I've seen so far of the Mystery Crew is probably when we reviewed Supernatural meets Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, the modern interpretation of the characters. Yeah, because they were those characters.
Mhm.
They were spot on. But
Yeah, exactly.
this is on one hand, it's not a show made for me.
Yeah.
And if I could, like I said, if it was not Scooby related,
Mm-hmm.
I could leave it at that and not watch another episode and not care. It would just go right by me, and it could be whatever kind of garbage show it wants to be for the adult man children who think they know what funny is.
Yeah. And
the Adult Swim crowd.
There
That's
we go.
really the problem here. Is it's an Adult Swim show in essence.
Oh, and
I know a lot of people like that stuff, but I never really have.
Right. There's also the very painful joke that they try to make in this, where
That narrows it down. All the jokes are painful.
the jokes are terrible in this, but it's where Norval's talking about, because he's always trying to say like, well, I'm not a smoker. I'm not
I
smoke.
don't do drugs.
I don't do drugs. But
it's
like, it's like the 32 club. You know what that is? And Velma says like, yeah, it's like adult.
You mean 420?
420. Yeah, 420, which is actually like
marijuana term.
Yeah, it's marijuana
that
club.
came out of California because the police code for like youth teenager disturbance or whatever, not necessarily marijuana, was 420.
Yeah, it's 420.
In case y'all did not know that little bit of culture.
But oh my gosh, it was like, it's adult, adult men or adult like adult people still watching kid cartoons. I was like, that's the audience you're pointing at with this, and you're insulting them.
It starts by saying, okay, you know how in pilots for most TV shows there's a gratuitous amount of sex and violence, so people will get interested in the show, and then it kind of tones the stuff down. Don't you hate that? And I'm going, what are you doing?
It's just,
this joke is dumb because you're doing that in front of us.
Yeah.
Granted, you don't see anything. It's all they're
cleverly covered,
cleverly censored.
Yes.
Because who really wants to see on animated characters' naughty bits anyway?
Right.
But it's cleverly, covered up. And I'm going, who is this for?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think it's for the people who like Scooby-Doo.
Nope.
It's for people who saw Scooby-Doo as a kid but haven't watched it in years.
Right.
And they think, oh, don't you remember that whole joke about Shaggy and the crew being high? We're going to make a joke how Shaggy has never done drugs.
Yeah.
So are you implying he's going to be forced to do drugs later, and that's going to turn him into the Shaggy we know?
No.
Because this is an origin story for how Velma created the Mystery Inc. crew. And I'm going, this ain't my Mystery Inc. crew. This ain't my Mystery Inc. crew at all.
Yeah, it's very much like you said, like it's a mirror distortion of what these characters are. And I'm going to try to grin and bear it and actually try to watch the third and fourth episode.
Oh, I'm done. I watched one episode. I put it to you this way.
It's that insulting.
The worst thing, the absolute worst thing a show can do, as I remember stating many times during Bad Movie Month, was not be interesting.
Yeah.
If you can't be good, be interesting.
Yeah.
If you can't be interesting, what am I paying attention for? And that was the thing. About 5 minutes into the episode, I was already on my iPad. I didn't even get out of the shower scene.
Yeah, it was that bad.
It was like, it's like you're saying jokes. I hear them. They're not funny. And all of these characters are hateful to each other far more than I remember high school being hateful. And I was the kid picked on in high school. I don't understand you people.
I know modern teenagers, and yeah, they pick on each other like we did, but not this bad. And the fact, like, not to be like, if you want to go watch your stuff,
right?
You know, get your own perspective on this.
And I just want to throw this out there because this is obviously the shtick that they're trying to catch a murderer. 10 to 1, it's actually Velma's mother. Just going to throw that out there.
Probably
since she's gone. But They literally expect me to believe that two cops who are dull as rocks, if we're being honest, they really do expect the ex best friend of their adopted daughter has the ability not only to murder two people in cold blood, but also can cleanly cut their heads off and steal their brains.
Yeah.
It's not a ragged cut. It's literally
it's a slice cut. It's a proper
like it's what you expect to see in a
cut.
cartoon when you see jokes like this. It's like
Yeah.
literally like, and I'm looking and going, I know this is a comedy, but the way this is set up, it still should be somewhat believable in universe.
Yeah, and it's not.
And if this is supposed to be Scooby-Doo, then that means it's either based somewhat on Scooby-Doo Who Are You, where there is no magic. It is literally everyone is people in masks, except for the robot in that one episode. Or it's completely goofy and there are actual monsters and they're just showing up randomly for no good reason. And you go straight through the murder, which tells me you're trying to go for the Where Are You area, especially since you have the whole, all but Scooby. I suspect they're not allowed to use Scooby.
Probably,
being honest,
not in this platform. No.
Or I could see maybe since Scooby is a dog, maybe they pick him up from the pound, like later on, like Norbert picks him up.
Maybe
because he's kind of goofy like that. He would pick up a dog and then somehow, I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to. I know they're trying to set it up like these people were not friends before.
Yeah.
Which that's a good setup for this sort of thing. I can see them not being friends and maybe being enemies, and a situation like, say, looking for a murderer could bring the crew together because they realize they're good at solving mysteries together.
Oh, episode 2. Oh my god.
I hadn't watched that. I don't know.
It's bad.
I was like, conceptually.
Yeah, conceptually.
That's all good ideas.
Yeah, it is a good idea. I agree.
Execution is pitiful.
It is pitiful.
In this.
The storytelling in this is abysmal. And like people who are diehard Scooby-Doo fans are like trying their best trying to find all the hidden gems and all this. The animation in itself is choppy as all out.
The animation is choppy. There are some nice little Easter eggs thrown throughout it.
Yeah, agreed.
Like most of these kind of shows. You can tell it's trying to be the Scooby-Doo, the lower decks of Scooby-Doo in some ways. And it's not pulling that off at all.
No, it's not.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah, the story, the characters are not likable. Now, I do like your concept, your notion that it's like, yeah, it's setting up to where it could be something good. But when you start off with your first 2 episodes with
I don't think this is setting up to be something good. I'm saying there was a lot of good ideas that went into this.
Yeah, that's
that
what it is.
Are thrown in there with a whole lot of really bad ideas.
Yeah,
and that's why you're coming out with. Well, this is a family-friendly show. I'm not going to say.
Right.
We try to be family-friendly.
We try to. We try our darndest here.
Unless we're reviewing something that's not. Which, considering we're talking about Velma, a TVMA cartoon about Scooby-Doo, which already sounds like a dumb idea.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be talking about a Mario thing where there's a bunch of blood.
Mm-hmm.
A very bloody Mario short.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking up my butt a little bit, but
yeah, it's just, oh my gosh. I'm going to grin and bear it for our audience. I'm going to go watch episode 2, 3, and 4 and see what goes on from there. I've watched the first 2. It was just like I had to stop and just like I was literally screaming at the screen. It's like, what in the world are you thinking? Because it's like execution wise, it's terrible. Story, like characters, it's stupid beyond belief. Like I understand, be like Velma's gone through some trauma because her mom went missing and people picked on her. Oh my god, what's new, pussycat?
It's not just that she's gone through trauma. We'll learn that the reason her mom left was because of her.
Yeah,
because a bunch of innocent things that really should not have caused the trouble it did, because I don't care how cartoony your universe is, hosing down your mom is not going to cause her eye to fall out.
Yeah.
Continually.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's like,
I know they're trying to set something up.
I get the idea that it's like she left because Velma made her life horrible, and her finding her Christmas presents was the last straw. But
yeah, but
I don't know what the present was that she picked up
no,
at the end, and I don't want to know.
no, because just to play into what episode 2 does, like apparently Velma, she gets over her problem that
Except she doesn't, because she
No,
still
she
has
does.
hallucinations.
yeah, she still has hallucinations. She's be like, I know my mom's still alive. I know she didn't abandon us. So she throws away the present anyway and doesn't bother looking at it. So be
Mhm.
like, here's a clue. You're supposed to be a really good investigator. You're terrible at it. You're supposed to be like, oh, I can solve mysteries. Oh,
Look,
I tell the
open-
truth. Wrong.
Open the present, because
idiot.
that's obviously that's the easiest mystery to solve. Where she went is in the present, because
Yes.
your mom obviously liked you enough not to run away when you poked her eye out with a garden hose. She may still have some love for you, unless the show is going to go really stupid.
Yeah, it's like be like, oh, apparently my mother didn't love me, but yet she left you a present. That makes no
it's like,
sense.
maybe Velma, you're reading too much into a lot of the stuff, and perhaps if this show was not so cynical
Mhm.
about everything,
Uh-huh.
I don't just mean, the horribleness of our capitalist-centered world. I mean, it's even cynical about its wokeness of that
Yeah.
that's peppered all throughout this.
Oh, yeah.
We're not even getting into politics, to be
No.
honest, but you watch it 5 seconds, you can tell it's left-leaning
Yes.
politically. I don't even care about that in the context of it, because what's not left-leaning on television and movies anymore, to some degree.
Right.
But when it's even being cynical about its own wokeness, I'm like, do you like anything about yourself, television show?
Yes.
If you can't like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
television show, I can't like any of your characters, how am I supposed to like you,
Mm-hmm.
television show?
Yes.
Sorry.
No.
That's the thing that bugs me about this, is like it feels like the writers don't even like the project they're working on.
Yes. Agreed.
Mindy Kaling, what's going on? Are you okay? What horrible crap are you going through right now that you created this show?
Fair point. So I watched the first 2 episodes and I need a palate cleanser. Like always, be like, you watch something you absolutely just despise.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm on HBO Max. What's there? Oh, Teen Titans. Not Go, Teen Titans. Yeah, exactly. So I watched the first 2 episodes. That is a way to write a good story, write good characters, write good dynamics of characters, of who be like, that's how you write a story. That's how you write a cartoon.
And you know what's interesting about that? It was controversial when it came out.
Really?
Everyone hated the fact that they used the anime art style.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
'Cause
right.
The anime nerds hated it because it's like, it's not real anime. It's obviously you're faking the style, blah, 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 blah.
Oh yeah.
And the people who hate anime are going, why'd you have to go and make it all Japanese and all? This is supposed to be an American cartoon, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking, you people just shut up and watch the show. And they did eventually, because the show is well loved by lots of people.
Mm-hmm.
Go will never have that. Well, Teen Titans Go, I think, has made some inroads with the fans.
Yeah.
With the mainstream comic industry. I've seen clips from that show after season 1, and it's like, this is a really funny show.
Yeah.
Season 1, on the other hand, we're making stupid jokes about making sandwiches, and I'm like, can we move on, please?
So yeah, I watched Teen Titans episodes 1 and 2 as a palate cleanser. Very good. Be like, if you have HBO Max, go watch it, because apparently HBO Max, Warner Discoveries is making more purges. So yeah, go watch your favorite shows before it's gone.
And HBO Max originals are not safe.
I noticed that.
Just putting that out there.
Right.
If you like a show, go watch it before it disappears. You're also sending a message to them. It's like, no, keep making this show. I'm saying that as someone who really hopes Velma dies in the show, not the character. Hopes the show Velma dies in a fire, which it appears to be doing.
Okay, so
anyway,
after watching yesterday, we got done with Bible study. I went home. Apparently I was a little too distracted, so I got done doing whatever I was getting done because I get distracted very easily about anything.
And I texted you, yes, this show is garbage.
Yes, he did. he did call me. He did text me on that. So I watched the first episode we're doing for X-Men the Animated Series, and it's like, you know what? Be like, what else is on here that's X-Men related? Oh yeah, Wolverine and the X-Men. So I think I watched this before, but it's like it was an interesting premise because you don't know what's going on. All you know is like something happened to Jean and Xavier, and they're gone. The X-Men are dispersed, and now it's just Wolverine trying to get everybody back.
Right. And I never watched the show either because I think it came on at a time where I didn't have a lot of time to sit down and watch like cartoons and such a lot of times. I wasn't against it. It's just like, you know, there are just times in your life where you don't have time to relax sometimes.
Agreed.
Going to school full time and college full time will do that to a person. But
yeah. So I watched the first episode. I thought it was interesting. Definitely Steve Bloom as Wolverine or Logan. Be like, okay, that's interesting. Because I love Steve Bloom as a voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's done so many iconic characters, not just anime, but in like multiple other genres. But I enjoyed it for what it was. It's only one season. It's available on Disney Plus. We have Disney Plus, and I am like I said before. I think last week I mentioned that I finished Lee Child's Killing Floor, which is the first book for the Jack Reacher series. That was very well done. And so I decided, because I remember way back in the day, remembering watching The Hunt for the Red October.
Good movie.
Yeah, good movie, as far as I remember. And I was like, wait, there's a book. And he's also named Jack.
Yeah.
And so I
think I brought this up last week because I said I sometimes confuse Jack Reacher and Jack Ryan.
You did. I think that was the inspiration. I think it was. But so I started listening to that early this week, and I'm like almost I'm almost done with it. It's very good. There's a lot of military jargon. It's very technical. It's very technical.
If you've seen the movie, they had to add Jack Ryan back into scenes.
Yeah.
Because he's not in like half the book.
Yeah.
He does not show up in the book except for one scene at the very beginning until like they're getting ready to get onto the Red October. No, the Enterprise. That's when they're getting on the Enterprise.
Yeah. But like he's in the background, but he's not the main player and everything.
There is no main player for most of that book.
There's not.
Because
there's a lot of like military intrigue and like what's going on, why is the Red October defecting and all that. Like it's interesting to me. You got to keep on your toes of what's going on. And it's just because I think at this point in the book they have detected where the Red October is and they're tracking it. This is the Americans, and the Russians are trying to find the Red October.
One ping only.
Yeah, that's it. One ping
only.
And Sean Connery is a Russian. Just saying.
A Scottish Russian.
A Scottish Russian.
Which is weird.
Well, at that point in Sean Connery's career, he could
Sean
literally...
Connery could have done it. He could have read the phone book and would have won an Oscar.
Very true. So that is all I've been watching and listening to.
I watched a little bit of anime this week. A little show called Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury.
Yeah,
watched a couple more episodes of that. It's a very good show. The show really does know how to punch you in the gut. Because the thing is, you're watching this whole thing. This one episode. I'm not going to spoil anything because you should go watch the show.
Unlike Velma,
you especially once there's an English dub, because I know that's easier for you.
Yes,
but there's a moment in here where so the main character in this is one of those people who so charismatic and is so good natured that she's never really met an enemy.
Really,
any enemy she meets, she somehow turns to her side to some degree.
Really.
Yeah, she's one of those characters. You know who I'm talking about.
I think so, yeah.
And it's one episode she's does this really thoughtful thing for the person she's fighting in this duel because it's the way it's set up.
Yeah.
And it's like you're feeling really good about it. It's like it's a very nice, happy, natural ending until the last 3 minutes.
Oh,
It's like,
jeez.
and she's standing out there waiting for this person so they could go just talk and be friendly. And you find out where he is. He's not coming.
Ooh.
And he will never come back.
Oh,
And I don't want to tell you why, because it's like, ah! Stab me in the gut with a pitchfork, why don't you?
what are you in a 1980s horror film?
Not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite. It was just one of those moments, just like, to those who have watched the episode will understand when I say this.
Mm.
Happy Birthday, as the song Happy Birthday to You has taken on a whole new meaning.
Oh.
But anyway.
Okay.
Other than that, I've watched, what else did I watch?
I don't know. Whatever we watch.
I've been watching some YouTube here and there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is Kingdom Hearts related because, writing a script for
Mm-hmm.
a thing that I'm doing over on another channel called Untangling Kingdom Hearts. So, of
Mm-hmm.
course, along with playing the game, I've been watching a Let's Play to make sure I'm, catching everything. But the place where I go to watch this Let's Play, which is the YouTube channel Playframe,
Mm-hmm.
he does a lot of Let's Plays of video games that he calls story mode.
Yeah.
Where literally he's playing through them to show you the story. So any of the places where like he has to stop and go grind or something,
Mm-hmm.
the boring stuff, or it's just a lot of fight after fight after fight, or
Right.
he gets lost, which is easy to do in some of these games.
Mm-hmm.
He'll edit that out and then come back when he gets back to the story. Well, he's just so happened to start another Kingdom Hearts game this week, which was Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, the other half of the cell phone game of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, which is, I guess, it is a cell phone game. It's an idle game.
Oh.
Those that you set up to run continuously while you go do something else, and when you come back, you see more cutscenes.
Got it.
That sort of thing. It was popular there for a while.
Got it.
I don't think it's popular anymore. But this wasn't even apparently good enough an idle game to last, because you can tell when you're watching his Let's Play of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's like 8 chapters that this goes through, and he's on like chapter 3, and we've only seen 2 Disney Worlds, which means the rest of this is probably going to get rushed.
Probably.
But I've been watching that because it's fun, and it's like I don't really want to play that game anyway because I hate cell phone games.
Okay.
In general, but Kingdom Hearts is pulling lore from everywhere apparently. So I am enjoying watching his playthrough for the story.
Yeah.
Anywho, other than that, I too am reading a book by Michael Crichton.
Okay.
Who you may know from writing Jurassic Park.
Roar.
But this was his first book.
Really?
The Andromeda Strain. And strangely enough, in my mind, I think I was somehow confusing Andromeda Strain with Hunt for Red October. Not in terms of story.
Yeah.
But in writing style, because in my mind, I was expecting to be going into this book and it being a lot of the technical stuff and the reports and readouts and such, like, takes up a lot of the beginning of
October.
Hunt for Red October. And it's like, no, this is much more prose. There are parts where it goes to like a long section of a readout of like, the time stamps of a satellite in orbit.
Right.
There are things like that happen, and a lot of really cool like publishing things, like showing the documents printed on there, a bunch of like fake graphs that are obviously faked up, but they're matching what's going on in the story, that sort of thing, which is interesting for 1980, I think, is when this book came out.
Yes.
And of course, he's talking about all these old like computer stuff always keeps coming up, like the fact that the base where this all takes place does have a mainframe on site, but it's you have to you have to not rent you have to everyone borrows computer time because there's only one computer on the base that terminals everywhere, and it just because that's just how computers used to be back in the day. It's not like today where it's like you've got a computer on your phone, you've got a computer on your iPad, I have a computer on my iPad, I have a computer on my phone. This television here and over there, they have their own computers built into it, far more powerful than the stuff that launched the space shuttle. Heck, this dumb watch I have for this, I call it dumb watch because it's not a smart watch. It's got more processing power than the original Apollo space probes had.
Yes.
Plus, I've got this other computer back here. I've got all this computer power they would have loved to have in this book.
Yeah.
They didn't have it.
And like
technology's changed in this many years.
It's same in the Red October. Like it's based in the 80s because they're dealing with like floppy disk. They're dealing with all this stuff. Be like, yeah, I've got this hard disk. Be like it's called a hard drive.
You remember? Well, it would have been a hard disk back then too.
Yeah, but a hard disk.
It's technically a hard disk now, but slight terminology changes.
Yeah.
Remember when the whole world could be saved by the contents of a floppy drive? Floppy disk.
Gosh.
A 3.5-inch floppy disk. The whole world could be destroyed the same way, but
it's true.
I miss the 90s. And in some ways I don't miss the 90s, but
as a child it's more reminiscent.
When you're looking back on this and going, the modern concept of this would be a jump drive, except jump drives are nearly extinct now.
Yeah, now it's called a flash drive.
That's all the same thing.
I agree.
They never no one ever normalized an actual name for that little device.
Really?
No, I've heard it called key drive, thumb drive, USB drive, flash drive.
True.
Thousands of different names.
Right.
Nobody ever made a decision what these stupid things were actually called.
Right.
Except it was a portable drive that you plugged in via a USB port.
Ah.
No one ever came up with a decent name because if anyone does now, it's too late. Most people don't even use them.
No.
I don't even know if schools use them anymore.
Probably not.
I remember my freshman year at Tyler Junior College in 2004 being told that in my computer class I needed to purchase a key drive, having no idea what that was, and thinking, oh, this must be just some thing that schools do. Because this is all what was new. I didn't know. So I went down to and I asked somebody where I could get one. Says, oh, the college bookstore has some. I go, oh, okay. I got to go to the college bookstore to buy my books anyway. Before I realized how much of a racket that was.
Yeah. Remember those days?
And I walked in there and I found a jump drive. It was, about this long, about 3 inches tall. With 64 megabytes.
Jeez.
And you want to know how much it cost? $64. It was $1 a megabyte. And I'm looking back going now thinking, this phone right here has 64 gigabytes of memory, and I'm running out of crap all the time. How did we survive with 64 megabytes? How did we survive the 90s with a Windows 95 computer where the hard drive was maybe, if you're lucky, 100 megabytes?
Yeah.
How did we survive? I know it was a different time. File sizes were different then. Yes. Either way,
that was a massive tangent.
Yes. Oh, I also watched two other anime this week.
Okay.
Both of these I watched while I was visiting our friend Chase.
Okay.
One of them was one he showed me called what was the name of that? It was a relatively new one. I remember it was an isekai that was not like a lot of other isekai. It was actually had thought put into it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Right.
So of course it was someone reborn into another world. And I cannot remember what the name of that thing is right now off the top of my head. But it was enjoyable.
Okay. Yes.
I don't know when I watched this since I can't remember the name of it, but
right.
But there was another one I watched. I'd actually seen like the day before, and then I showed him that night, called I'm saving 80,000 gold coins for my retirement in another world. You gotta love these 1,000-mile long names.
Yes.
I don't actually. But what was interesting about this is that unlike most isekai, where the fact that they're from another world is just an excuse as to why this character has all this knowledge.
Uh-huh.
She actually can move back and forth between the worlds at will.
Interesting.
Between the real world and this fictional world. And for half of the or for most of the first episode,
yeah,
she can't understand the language of the people in that world. And consequently, neither can we.
Huh.
So it's like, this is a very interesting. Now, they eventually do let her understand what they're saying, and consequently us. But there's a whole point where I'm watching this going, I really like how they're taking a more realistic approach to this.
Yeah.
And actually, the second episode was good too. It was still a very realistic approach to it, but it's slowly doing the isekai things because it is an isekai. But anyway,
yeah, I would have been there that night, but I was having like a massive headache.
That's fair.
Like,
I get it, dude.
Yeah, it finally led up like towards like almost 7:30, and it was like,
yeah, it was just me, Chase, and
Joseph,
Big Joseph. Yeah.
Oh, Big Joseph.
Yeah. Little Joseph went back to the border.
I gotcha.
People listening have no idea what we're talking about. That's fine. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching.
Okay.
And tomorrow I'll go watch a movie.
Yeah.
The Way of Water.
Smurfs too.
Dances with Smurfs. The Way of Water. I hope this doesn't turn out like that Guillermo del Toro movie.
Like Pinocchio?
The Shape of Water.
Oh, The Shape of Water. I've actually got a friend be like, he wants to do like a movie night of The Shape of Water.
I'm not coming.
Okay.
I know enough about what that's about to go, I don't want to watch that.
Alrighty.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, I have a question for... well, that's not what I say here. Jacob, what do we got in the news?
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you, Dealit. Thank goodness I no longer have rabbit ears or something going on right now. But either way, so in the news, I know something's going to happen this episode. Probably. You never know. It's Dealit. You never know. You got to be in a good time. Oh crap.
She says, just remember, just because I'm not out to get you doesn't mean you're not being paranoid, or something to that effect.
That is true. That is so true. Either or. Let's get into that.
That was mwahahahahaha.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Alrighty. I'm not paranoid. You're paranoid. All right. So, Warner Brothers, that again, we were talking about a Warner Brothers property earlier. We're going to another Warner Brothers property. That's probably much more liked right now. So, Batman, the Doom that came to Gotham, is available for digital purchase and on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray combo pack and Blu-ray on March 28th from Warner Brothers Discovery Home Entertainment.
I'm just going to say I have no idea what this is about, but I kind of want it to be a crossover between Batman and the video game Doom. I want Batman fighting demons with a shotgun.
Close. You're very close. Apparently it's where
I doubt it's actually a crossover with
No, it's not.
Doom.
It's not a crossover. But apparently Bruce Wayne somehow releases these like hell spawns or demons,
probably demons,
something like that.
That's the DC version of those, I think.
Yeah, onto Gotham, and he has to go in and like it's a 1920s noir kind of story. So apparently, if you are a rabid fan of those movies, you've already probably gone and picked it up, or your first time hearing about it, oh my gosh, I love everything Batman, and going out and going either digitally renting it or going and buying it the physical.
Mm-hmm.
So I need some music for this one. I played it last week.
Oh, good thing I hadn't got rid of it yet.
Yes, thank you. All right, so in addition to the Trigun Stampede English dub cast being confirmed, joined by Johnny Young Bass, Bosch, thank you.
Just say JYB.
JYB, who was recently announced to reprise his role as Vash Stampede from his previous voicing in 1998's Trigun and 2010's Trigun Badlands Rumble. The English dub premiered its first episode on Saturday, January 21st at 10:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Crunchyroll. It will debut new episodes weekly following the Japanese-English simulcast, which also debut new episodes on Saturday, which premiere on July 7th. The English subclass will include Johnny Young Bosch, best known from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, he's in something else coming out.
Yeah, he's in Bleach, and he was in
and
Akira.
Every other anime ever.
That's true, but also he was the more recent redub of Akira, which we did already.
Yeah, we did review that one.
Yeah, so go.
But all I'm saying is JYB is very prolific.
Yeah, he's very prolific. And plus, he's going to be in the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers coming up.
Yes.
In the next couple of months on Netflix.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers once and forever.
Once and forever. That's going to be interesting. So, the voice cast, also Sarah Roach from the anime Fire Force will play Meryl. Ben sorry, sometimes I get tongue-tied and I can't read a word. So going forward, Ben Bryant from My Hero Academia will play Roberto Del D Nero. I think I'm probably butchering. I apologize. Austin Tinley from Love Is War will play Millions Knives. Kristen's Makiro, I'm probably mispronouncing. I apologize. That time I got reincarnated as a slug is playing Young Vash. Slime. Young Vash. Megan Shipman, Spy Family is playing Young Knives, and Emily Fregera, I'm there again, butchering again, is going to play Rim. So that's that's the English voice cast. There's probably a ton more. You'll probably hear the standard voice actors in here because there again it's Trigun, and plus it's the anime voice over community. They just get involved with everything. So yeah, that's the voice cast. There again, I'll probably post it on the social medias for you guys to look and be like, you mispronounced this, Jacob. Well, I mispronounce everything half the time. So either or.
Yeah, he couldn't say Roberto De Niro.
No, I couldn't. But
which is interesting considering there's an actor over here named Robert De Niro, which is not that much far off.
No, it's not. But
it happens.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, that is all I have for info and news. I mean news
and stuff.
News and stuff. Thank you.
No, it's just news.
It's news. Not news and stuff. News and info. It's news. Anyways, I'm getting tongue-tied tonight. Thank you very much.
It happens.
It does.
All right. Are you ready to get into the spoiler-free
section
of our review of Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom parts 1 and 2?
Uh-huh.
The following is a spoiler-filled review of the Flash video Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom parts 1 and 2.
Yahoo!
Listener discretion is advised. Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom parts 1 and 2 was written, directed, and animated by Randy Solom.
Mm-hmm.
He originally released it to Newgrounds, but I'll let you get to that part in a minute.
Yes.
Getting into the cast, by all technical accounts, no audio was recorded for this. However, because it does use the special effects from the games, technically Mario and Luigi are voiced by Charles Martinet. And Yoshi is voiced by Kazumi Totaka.
Like even when Yoshi goes when he falls in the lava.
Yes. 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 The only thing I'm not sure is where it comes from is the scream that the Koopas do when they're getting eaten by the Yoshis.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know where that comes from.
It's probably they pulled from some other game or something like that.
Who knows?
Oh
Who
my
knows?
gosh!
There are, of course, no Kingdom Hearts connections. Yet. Actually, I doubt there ever would be. But anyway, what do we have in info and stuff?
All right, so info and stuff. It has no IMDb.
No, it does not.
No, it doesn't.
Boy, this was a fun episode to research.
Yes. Like just for a heads up, I was like, because Drew asked me earlier.
Yesterday, actually.
Yesterday, you asked me yesterday. Be like, do you want me to send information because he's already done the research and there's not that much information to glean from anywhere on the net. So I was like, yeah, sure, just send me over. So he sends this information over. I'm like, oh, okay, copy paste, done.
Go ahead and say all of it because I think I know how this is going to go.
Yeah, pretty much. So you can currently watch it on its remastered version on YouTube and every other version on YouTube. Originally on the Newground site.
And they are both available there also.
Really? Okay, cool. Produced by Randy Solom.
Created by Randy Solom with his I forgot to mention this part on there. His username and his website, Video Game Director's Cuts, is now a whole community.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
And after this remastered version that was done after he passed by the community. They went in, got the old Flash files, and then re-rendered them.
Nice. All right, so distributed like originally it was on Newgrounds, and now it's now both on YouTube and Newgrounds.
Yes. And technically still on his site, videogamedc.com. I'm going to suggest you not go there because there is some it's an early 2000s website that may not have been properly maintained.
Oh.
So there might be some malware.
Got it. Okay.
Just letting you know.
No wonder I walked in, Drew was sweating.
No, that wasn't an issue.
Okay, just kidding. All right, so release date originally was August 6, 2003, and the remastered version was released on August 14th, 2019. And that's all for info and stuff.
Well, you missed that part one. Well, part one was on August 6, 2003. Yes. Part two, which is also what we're watching tonight, was released on September 20th, 2000.
That's right. For some reason, I was like, oh, part one is like the one we're doing now. Part two is the one we're doing next.
No, next time it's parts 3 and 4 because this was all originally released as 4 7-minute long videos, which is about the most you could do on Flash back in the day.
Got it.
Reasonably.
Yeah. Thank you for that misunderstanding of my part.
No, it's fine. This is a weird thing we're reviewing. So
yeah, agreed. So yeah, that's all I have for you for stuff.
So getting into the trivia because I didn't mention summary. I'll do summary really quick because this is easy. Mario gets killed. They have a funeral for him, and the entire Mushroom Kingdom swears revenge, being led by Luigi against Bowser because they think Bowser killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert! It wasn't Bowser.
Poor Bowser. Oh my gosh.
Poor Bowser.
Oh my gosh.
Getting into the trivia for this.
Yes.
This uses sprites and sound effects from, I want you to guess how many games.
Maybe like 5 or 6.
I believe actually it is 6 because you've got the Super Mario All-Stars versions of Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2. Sorry, let me start that over. It's the Super Mario All-Stars versions of Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, and Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That is why some of the Yoshi related sprites look a little more cartoony.
That makes sense.
Because they were. Along with the Super Mario Brothers franchise music that's in this, we also get the an instrumental version of My Heart Will Go On from the movie Titanic. Hummel Get the Rockets from the movie The Rock.
Okay.
Death of Titanic from Titanic. The Sinking from Titanic.
Someone like Titanic.
Hard to Starboard from Titanic. And last but not least, The Name of the Game by The Crystal Method. Best idea which movie he got that inspired him for this one was Blade 2. Because a lot of that fight also looked like it might have been inspired by Blade 2.
Yes.
Along with The Matrix.
My gosh.
The tombstones in the Halloween graveyard scene reference major Flash animators from Newgrounds at the time, including Robert E. Ford and Benjamin Spurgeon and Thomas Fulp, who was the creator of the Newgrounds website.
Oh, okay.
When Luigi jumps backwards through the wall to enter the pipe, it is a reference to the -1 world glitch present in all versions of Super Mario Brothers. They never fixed it. The Bowser fight references the Bowser boss battles seen in Super Mario Brothers 1, Super Mario Brothers 3, and Super Mario 64. And like I said, The Matrix references that too. What's your first like for this?
Oh, my first like. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I forgot. It also features like a very weird MIDI version of the what is that movie with the not The Shining? It was an old Alfred Hitchcock movie.
The Birds?
No.
Psycho?
Psycho. Features the
Oh, it does. That's right. That's right. It does.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh. So my first like is the Yoshis. Oh
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was not expecting it because there again, I'm thinking Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
Whee! And just like it's gonna be fun, exciting, be like, I didn't expect to be like, oh, Mario dies and Luigi goes out for revenge. I was not expecting the Yoshis to eat Koopas.
Well, I mean, technically the Yoshis did eat the Koopas in the game.
Yeah.
Not quite this severely.
And you know,
not like they were the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park.
The one that got me was when you had two Yoshis were tugging at this.
Yes.
Like, I can't remember what creature it was.
It's a Koopa.
A Koopa.
It was a Koopa.
This poor little Koopa tears the Koopa apart. And the one that got me was the two Yoshis. They pounce on these Koopas and they're shrugging it off. And one of he discharges the bones of them.
He poops out the bones of this Koopa.
And the one that got me.
No, it wasn't a Koopa. That was a Lakitu.
A Lakitu. Okay. So the one that when Luigi defeats Bowser, and it's just like, okay, there he goes. He's not gone. I know that.
Yeah.
So he lands on this island and just barrels through right this thing of eggs. I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be like Jurassic World 2. Jurassic Park 2. Just,
wow. Yoshi.
It just eats him apart. It's like, oh my gosh.
Welcome to the early 2000s internet.
I was like, oh my gosh. I think wait a minute. I think I heard about it because I think my brothers have mentioned it at one point. It's like, oh yeah, this is so funny. I'm like, yeah, sure, it's video games. Because I didn't care about video games back then. But I was like, the Yoshis threw me for a loop. Like, oh my gosh, they're eating everybody. And they're just nom 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 nom. And I died laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is shocking. And I was like, oh yeah, it's the early 2000s. That makes sense. So yeah, the Yoshis. Yoshi. Nom 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 nom.
I wasn't expecting that to be your first like. My first like, the twist at the end.
Oh yeah,
because it wasn't Bowser
who
killed Mario. Do you know who it was?
I'm at a loss. I remember the character's model, but I don't know who it is.
This was a character named Wart.
Okay.
He was the primary villain from Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing about Super Mario Brothers 2.
It's not originally.
It's not originally a Super Mario Brothers game. What we know of as Super Mario The Lost Levels is actually Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan.
Yeah.
What we know as Super Mario Brothers 2 was officially released in Japan as Super Mario Brothers USA, but it was originally released as a game known as Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, I've heard of this game.
And the character of Wart was created for, I think he's actually used in a couple other games before this, because he's just one of those rare characters. And yeah, the game was made by Shigeru Miyamoto, so I mean, it's still a Miyamoto game.
Yeah.
But Wart is a giant frog king who rules over the area called Subcon.
Okay.
Short for subconscious, because all of Super Mario Brothers 2 is a dream.
Really?
Yes. This will be much more interesting next week.
Okay.
But that's who that character is. It was the character, and that's who all the villains were. They were all the minions and such from Super Mario Brothers 2.
Nice.
That's who Wart is.
Oh, okay.
But the best part about this is I didn't catch this. Like I caught it this time when I was watching it, because I remembered how it ended when I was rewatching this for the first time about a month ago. When I decided to put this on the list. I like how Bowser is still confused why the Mushroom Kingdom is attacking. It's like what did I do? I didn't kidnap the princess. I guess because Bowser doesn't know why they're attacking, but gosh darn it, if those stupid mushroom people are going to try to kidnap my kingdom, I'm going to defend it.
Yeah.
He's going to try anyway.
Yeah. Poor Bowser. Poor Bowser.
Yeah. So I do like how the twist doesn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It is actually hinted at earlier in part 2 there. It's like, yeah, Bowser's is really getting unfairly
agreed
hit by this. So yeah, that's my first like.
Okay. So
not only was there a twist, they actually hinted that there would be a twist early on in the thing.
Oh my gosh. Besides the story is really well done, and it was like a shocker. It's like, wow, this is a really good story. The part that got me, I laughed my ever-living butt off. And it wasn't supposed to be funny.
No, it wasn't.
It was supposed to be sad and mournful, and you're supposed to feel really bad for the characters. And a part, it was like, okay, this is sad, but I was laughing my head off, is the funeral scene. The funeral scene. It's where they're lying Mario to rest, and they're playing My Heart Will Go On, the instrumental version from Titanic. And I'm like,
which I suspect was the same, was also played during the Jack death scene.
Yeah, I have not seen Titanic yet.
I hadn't either. I'm just making an assumption.
Yeah, I think it's played at the very end of the film or towards the beginning. But I am laughing my head off at a funeral scene because they're playing My Heart Will Go On.
Yeah.
It's fitting, but I am just laughing my head off like, oh my gosh, they're using Titanic music. How in the world are they getting away with this?
I will answer that with my second like, which is all of the music in this.
Yes.
Because not only do we get a lot of music from Titanic, we also get the music from Blade 2 with the most overused song on the face of the planet from this time period.
Oh my gosh.
The Name of the Game by Crystal Method.
Oh gosh.
But it is so 2000s, it hurts.
Yes.
But the reason I like this is because this was the early days of the internet. You could get away with this crap because nobody knew how to stop it. And plus, all this music was not ripped off a CD. No. It was downloaded from Napster. It had to have been.
Oh my gosh.
This is around that time. You know, that's probably how we got it.
It is.
And along with that, of course, actually, I take that back because these aren't MP3s.
Really?
Well, the Crystal Method song is an MP3. Most of these are MIDIs, which was even freer.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Which is even freer because
oh my gosh.
now they're good MIDIs. I actually have to go back and listen to the original to see if if it's a bad MIDI, like if there's an older MIDI rip that's not good in the original. But this is about the way I remembered it from back then.
Oh my
so it's like, this is bad but good, and it fits so wonderfully. What's your third like?
Third like? I didn't think of a third like.
I guess I should have mentioned I was thinking 3 likes and 3 dislikes for these 2 episodes.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
We're watching the whole.
Yeah. So third like is definitely the story.
Yeah.
The story is so because there again, watching this show for the first time, I'm thinking, me Mario, kind of more. It's like no, or in this case,
yeah.
The Mario gets pounded, gets obliterated, and it's just a revenge story, and it's so well done because they play into like there again. I'm not much of a gamer, but I know a lot about Mario, and so like you have all this like elaborate set of what they're doing, what the Mushroom Kingdom's doing, how they're proceeding into Bowser's castle. And all this, like the animation in it is so well done for sprite animation.
Yeah, no one has done sprite animation like this. Did it before this, and no one's done it after this.
Yeah,
to this level of quality, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because a lot of there's some things here you obviously couldn't have done on a Super Nintendo, but a lot of the stuff looks like that came straight out of the game, and it had to have.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just how like the I'm trying not to stutter or like how I'm trying to be fluid and hope about how I talk. So like how they approach getting into the castle, how they get Luigi into the castle, the attack on the castle with both armies going at each other. That is very well done. The story itself is executed very well, and I enjoy that about the story. And how the final the boss fight with Luigi, which is always cool to see Luigi in the main lead, because they do that a few times in the games.
Actually, not that much.
Yeah.
In around this time period, you would have had Luigi be the protagonist in an couple of edutainment titles from this time, such as Mario is Missing and there was a time travel one too, but it was basically very thinly veiled edutainment stuff. And really, Luigi would not really get a good protagonist role until Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube. But then we did have the Year of Luigi back like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, because he popped up.
They celebrated all Luigi all month long, all year long.
I enjoyed that final fight because they're using all kinds of different techniques. They're using like the Matrix, the
camera swing around. I always called it the Matrix move because it's the only when it was the first movie I ever saw that did it, and I call it that. And now it's like everyone did it at the time.
Oh
including Shrek.
Yeah, that was so well done. There again, how poor Bowser gets eaten by those Yoshis.
Yeah.
But the story is well done. Definitely when the cliffhanger comes into it's like, oh, it wasn't Bowser, it was this other dude. It's like, oh, okay. It's like so that's where the big bullet ray bill. There were a
total of 4 bullet bills and then a bonsai bill.
A bonsai bill. Okay. So yeah, that's what I my third and final like would be is the story itself and how it's executed and how the animation is done. It's so well done. What is your third like?
The animation.
Okay.
Throughout this whole thing, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail because you talk generally. I'm going to get specific.
Okay.
When I'm saying animation, I'm talking about all the art he had to do for this,
Mhm.
because while a lot of these are sprites ripped straight from the games,
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of animations a lot of sprites he had to create himself.
Mm-hmm.
That casket is completely original.
Oh yeah, had to.
Not from anything else. The shot of Bowser from behind,
Mm-hmm.
completely original. There is not a 16-bit back sprite of Bowser, because they never had to spin him around on Mario 64.
True.
Some of the well, of course, the teeth on the Yoshis.
Oh,
that
God.
was an original
They
sprite.
had to, yeah.
And a lot of other little things like that. Plus, like I said, I call it the MS Paint level effects for all the liquids.
Ah, gotcha.
I say that because the blood is very cheap looking.
Mm-hmm.
Bowser's scared relief, I'll say, looked very cheap looking.
Oh yeah, agreed. Agreed. That was funny. It's like, oh crap.
Ooh, that's not good. To quote Krillin from last week, well, his life's over. There's just the whole thing, because it's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that is obviously he had to make himself, because this is not how this would have worked back on a Super Nintendo.
Yes.
But there's also like the little touches, like the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
These clouds are specifically from like Super Mario Brothers on the All-Stars version, because they aren't like this in Super Mario World. But all the facial expressions on the clouds, which change throughout the show,
Really,
are he did. I think the only ones he didn't do was the smiley face ones in the opening.
okay.
But they are sad during the funeral scene. They are angry during most of the attack on Bowser's castle.
Right.
And then when Bowser gets flung up, you see one cloud go over and it's got the evil smirk on its face. Like, yes, we won. But it's like little things like that. It's like, you probably didn't even notice that.
No, I didn't.
And it's those little touches that are in there. The idea of the in the club scene, them using the Koopas from the behind the fence climbing Koopas for dancing Koopas. That was cool.
Yeah, I agree.
All the little jokes in there where Luigi went into the employees area section and accidentally came out in the frog suit and had to go back in to get the Tanuki suits. And then uses the Tanuki suit like Metal Gear Solid.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes.
To sneak through the club scene. Just the little things like that. It's like there's nice little brilliant touches all throughout it. It's like you can tell that he's mocking Mario Brothers. Yes, I will grant you that.
Yeah,
but it's a loving mockery. It's the same kind of mockery you see in things like Star Trek Lower Decks or the movie I like and you hate, Galaxy Quest.
Got it.
Is with Star Trek.
Yeah,
it's a loving mockery.
Yeah, agreed.
It's not meant to say, look at how silly and stupid this is. It's like, look how cool this could be without Nintendo causing us not to, we're just gonna have fun with this because it's Mario. It's a great juxtaposition of the cute and warm-blooded Mario that we're all used to seeing, except it's bloody war for revenge for killing our hero. And that's what I like about it. It's the whole thing, the animation quality. You just feel the love and passion behind everything. There's only one little thing I'm going to bring up in the dislikes that I wish was different when it comes to the animation. But we'll get to that here in a minute.
Okay.
Are you ready to go into dislikes?
Yeah, let's go into dislikes.
What's your first one?
I really don't have one.
Okay, then.
Okay.
I have two.
Okay.
The first one is that all of the lava in Bowser's castle is stationary.
Really?
None of it's animated at all. And the problem is the color that it's frozen in is the same color as the blood. So it literally just looks like Bowser's castle is filled with blood. But it's not blood, it's supposed to be lava because you see the fireballs jumping in and out of it,
Mhm.
and when the different characters fall into it, they burn like they are falling into lava. So it's just really weird that granted, I assume that when he captured this, he only captured he's only able to maybe capture one frame of the lava animation and didn't have a chance to go back and get the other frames.
Mhm.
Maybe, or maybe that would have been too complicated for Flash to animate all that at one time. I don't know,
Possibly.
but I just wish that there was. It just didn't. I wish it was animated. I wish all the lava was animated like it's would be in a Mario Brothers game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my first dislike.
That's the one. I did not notice that.
I only noticed it on this last viewing because I got to looking because after you've watched something a couple times, you're now just watching everything,
Right?
To see what little silly things in the background because this thing's full of like little jokes in the background.
Yeah, agreed.
What little things did he leave in there? And I just happened to notice, hey, the lava's not animating. That's a shame. My only other dislike, I think, for this, I think they should have left the -1 glitch reference out. Because I can just imagine if you didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
Actually, I can actually speak from experience because this was how I learned about the -1 glitch.
Really?
Was watching this movie watching this video back in 2003. I didn't know what it was. I didn't get the joke. I thought, well, that's just weird. And I had to go look up what all that was. And that's how I found out about it. So yeah, it made me have to go look at it, but it's like, it takes you out the minute they do it, especially since it's in the middle of a completely fabricated. It's an original area that he had to make because they'd never really done a Halloween themed area outside of the ghost house that you do see in the background. But this whole like jack-o'-lanterns and such, all that he had to make, and the tombstones and all. But that's just a minor little thing. It's like I just don't think that fits because I mean, like I said in the intro when I talked when I introduced you, the boss store is right there. Yeah, it's locked, but it's like that's probably going to take him to the same spot the -1 warp thing is going to do. So
probably.
Why don't you just go through the door? I mean, yeah, this is a nice other little joke, but it's if you've never heard of the glitch, it just looks weird.
Yeah, agreed. So the only thing I could think of that would probably be like a negative towards it, and it's more of a joke than anything. I wish somebody like whenever like Luigi would have punched Bowser, like you would have like like point or like a coin would pop out or something like that.
Right. I mean,
it was something funny like that. It'd been funnier, but it's not there. But
I get that because they go to the trouble of when they're killing the flying Paracoopas of doing the 1-up thing where it's like they take out just enough that you get the doo-doo-dee. Because apparently that Yoshi got an extra life, or I don't remember what was shooting him.
Yeah,
it had to have been the Yoshi because it was watermelon seeds.
That's right.
I was like, oh, Yoshi got an extra life. Awesome. Hope that's not the one that just died in the fire.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah.
All right.
You ready to rate this thing?
Yeah.
I'm giving it an 8.5.
8.5. Okay.
I do like this. It's fun. There are little things that could be better, and I think to some degree, as much as I love the early 2000s-ness of this, some of it has not aged well.
Agreed.
Like a lot of things from that time period have not aged well.
Right. It's the early 2000s.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my I'm giving it an 8.5.
Nice. So for me, yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's 8.5. Like it's good. It's a good story. It's very well done animation wise. Definitely for what it is. For something that is Flash, it's very well done. And I've never seen anything like this before. And I'm looking forward to the second part and next week. So yeah, 8.5.
All right. So next week, as we've probably said a couple times already, we'll be reviewing parts 3 and 4 of Rise of the Mushroom Kingdom. We'll find out if all this actually happened.
Interesting.
That's all I'm going to say. You ready to jump into X-Men?
Yeah, let's hop into that.
Previously on X-Men.
Meet the sulky, over-bulky, kinda hulky superhero. Hot-twisted and electrically transistored superhero. An exotically neurotic and aquatic superhero. The Marvel superheroes have arrived.
X-Men, X-Men, it's the day, X-Men, X-Men, coming your way.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends, Iceman and Firestar.
First episode of tonight, we've got Captive Hearts, directed by Larry Houston and written by Robert N. Skier and Marty Eisenberg. Original air date for this was January 30th, 1993. Almost exactly 20 years ago.
Yeesh.
No, 30 years ago.
30 years. Yeah, almost 30 years
Almost
ago.
30 years ago. We feel old.
A little.
In this episode, Cyclops and Jean are captured by a group of human mutants called the Morlocks when they go on a romantic date, much to Logan's hurt. Storm battles their leader Callisto for control of the underground mutant group. Guest cast for this includes Susan Roman as Callisto, John Stalker as Leech, Dan Hennessy as Sunder, David Corbin as Tar Baby, Judy Marshak as Plague, Kay Tremblay as Annalie, and Ross Petty as Ape. Getting into the trivia for this, the metal tentacles are similar to those of a Sentinel and Spider-Man villain Dr. Octopus. In the Danger Room, hang on, I hit the button wrong. Okay, in the Danger Room, Gambit is seen holding each of the aces, a second ace of diamonds and two of diamonds and two of clubs. While having two ace of diamonds could be seen as a mistake, it's likely he adds old leftover cards to new decks. He holds the two of diamonds while attacking the Morlocks. It is unknown if Scott and Jean saw a play or film of the Phantom of the Opera. There does happen to be a 1943 film simply called Phantom of the Opera. The reference to the Phantom of the Opera is relevant given that the story is about a disfigured man hiding from society who tries to force a woman to love him by kidnapping her.
Yeah. Completely agree.
Jean references the famous line from the song Space Oddity, ground control to Major Tom.
Yes, she does.
After leaving the theater, Scott and Jean pass a newsstand with pictures of Magneto and a Sentinel on the side. A man standing near the newsstand is smoking a cigarette, a rare case of smoking in children's animation.
I noticed that.
Near the newsstand, there is a sign for New York books, indicating that this episode takes place in New York City. Leech apparently has some telekinesis, a power he does not have in the comics or any other source. Scott's eyes apparently are brown. The comics state that the Morlocks are located in an old Cold War bomb shelter. Mes frères means my brothers in French. Wolverine apparently has arachnophobia, a fear of spiders and scorpions. Yeah, I don't think he'll have any trouble later on when they meet Spider-Man.
No. Oh, that would be hilarious. It's a spider.
Wolverine actually tries to kill both Annalie and Callisto. Tar Baby's goo apparently can explode.
And it's concrete, apparently, too.
Apparently. The Morlock fighting staffs look like lightsabers from Lucasfilm's Star Wars franchise.
Uh-huh.
Interestingly, Callisto uses the red staff, which is typically used by evil characters in Star Wars, while giving Storm the blue staff used by heroes. Furthermore, the double-sided staff predates the double-sided lightsaber first used by Darth Maul in the 1990 film Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, directed by George Lucas.
1999?
That's what it is 1999. I
Yeah.
said 96, didn't I? I was reading fast.
Mm-hmm.
Morlocks that appear but are not named are Plague, old woman who makes Gambit sick, Urg, the man with the eye patch, Tar Baby, the disgusting goo man, Mask, man in the hood, Tommy, flat multicolored woman who can turn invisible, is apparently named Tommy.
Wow.
I gotta double check that because that may be a nope, that is the character's name. Tommy. I was afraid that was a spell check error.
Mm.
Ape, shape-changing man, Scaleface, woman who became a lizard, and Glowworm, worm-like man who shoots energy. There are also several other Morlocks present in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
When Gambit drops his cards, his eyes become normal. Here's a question. If training is crucial, why isn't Cyclops the team leader in the danger room with the others?
I guess it's more for this episode. It's trying to point out more of Storm's like
Right.
a claustrophobia.
But it is a weird thing that he's not in there training also. In case
it is weird.
He needs to learn how to follow others, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Cyclops has actually not been in a leadership position in the comics since X-Men #1.
Yeah, he's here and there, but I don't read the comics that much.
Either way.
Yeah.
Or sorry, giant size X-Men #1. That's the one I was thinking of. Because he would have had to have been at least under Professor Xavier for the most part during the original run. Anyway. In Storm's flashback, her younger self has light skin and dark hair. A vast difference from that same flashback in Deadly Reunions.
Yeah, I saw. I was like, "What in the world?"
Scott's sunglasses are gray in this episode instead of his usual ruby red.
Yes.
Jean's dress changes throughout the episode.
It does.
Sometimes it is all pink. Sometimes she has a white sash, and sometimes her midriff is exposed. This one actually taught me a new term in filmmaking. After Scott and Jean leave the theater, the camera breaks the 180-degree rule.
Really?
You
Okay.
know what that is?
No, I don't.
All right. According to Wikipedia,
Of course.
in filmmaking, the 180-degree rule is a basic guideline regarding the on-screen spatial relationship between a character and another character or object within a scene.
Oh.
The rule states that the camera should be kept on one side of an imaginary axis between the two characters so that the first character is always frame right of the second character. Moving the camera over the axis is called jumping the line or crossing the line. Breaking the 180-degree rule by shooting on all sides is known as shooting in the round. The 180-degree rule enables the audience to visually connect with the unseen movement happening around and behind the immediate subject and is particularly important in the narration of battle scenes.
Interesting.
I thought that was interesting.
That was interesting.
Now I know what to complain about when I can't understand what's going on in a fight scene. They're breaking the 180-degree rule. The composition of the mob chasing Leech changes from shot to shot, with people constantly appearing and disappearing. When Scott blasts thunder, the Morlock is not visible through the blast, but the wall behind him is. This happens again when Jean blasts the Morlocks. The footage shown by Callisto is reused footage from Night of the Sentinels Part 1 that would have been impossible for someone with a camera to get.
Yeah.
Tar Baby throws goo at Gambit and Wolverine, pinning them against the wall, but neither X-Men are visibly moved when this happens. When pinned by Tar Baby's goo, Gambit moves his head beneath the goo. His hand beneath the goo.
He does.
Storm blasts the hinges to the door despite the bolt being on their side. Additionally, the bolt is not moved when the door falls. When Wolverine goes to attack the dead Cyclops, Gambit's eyes are normal. Gambit and Rogue Shadow disappear briefly when she takes him out of the tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
When chasing Callisto, Wolverine appears briefly in front of a wall. He then disappears behind it. Wolverine appears too large when walking outside Scott's cell.
Yes.
Wolverine cuts through only one side of the door while chasing Callisto, yet the entire thing comes off. Storm knows Callisto's name despite no one saying it when the X-Men arrive.
Mm-hmm.
When Storm and Callisto fight, Callisto's staff occasionally stops glowing.
It does.
The Danger Room last appeared in Night of the Sentinels Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time Jean does any fighting, and the first time Jean uses her telekinesis.
Mm-hmm.
Morph's death in Night of the Sentinels Part 2 is mentioned. Storm's second bout of claustrophobia after deadly reunions. Wolverine is still recovering, or at least supposed to be, from deadly reunions when Jean mentioned the fighting. This is the first time Wolverine openly expresses affection for Jean. The first kiss between Scott and Jean.
Mm-hmm.
The first appearance of the Morlocks and their members. The first time Gambit is seen out of his uniform. Scott talking about a house dropping on him is the series' second reference to the Wonderful Wizard of Oz following Night of the Sentinels Part 2.
Mm.
Scott reveals that sunlight is the source of his powers. This is similar to the Silver Surfer and Superman. In this episode, Storm becomes leader of the Morlocks.
Mm-hmm.
Beast does not appear in this episode, and this is the first time he doesn't.
Hmm.
And that's all I've got for trivia,
Okay.
which I know is a lot.
That is a lot of trivia.
The way I'm getting these, I'm just kind of copying, pasting a lot, and then kind of skimming through to see, does this reference anything we don't want to talk about yet? Because you know how that kept happening during Tangled,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
and I wasn't catching it because I didn't know to catch it. Or I would catch it and go, "Ow, I wish I didn't know that spoiler."
Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on this episode?
I have so mixed feelings about
On
this
the
episode.
meme episode, I forgot to mention this has 2 internet memes in it now.
Yes, it does. Oh my
The
gosh.
scene of Wolverine pining over this picture of Jean Grey, and Scott is in the picture also. But we see that very meme was used to announce X-Men 97
Yes, it was. Which is coming out this year.
sometime this year. And then the other meme that is present in this is the one of Jean and Scott kissing, and then the next shot is pulled out, and you see Wolverine just standing there awkwardly.
It's like, dude, give him some space.
Or more like, well, this is awkward. Maybe I shouldn't. Anyway,
I'm gonna go be moody and run away.
to the ice. Moving on.
Yeah. Next episode. No, but like they reuse Storm's sorry. Her claustrophobia. They reuse
It's a hard word to say, and I swear this must have been the first time I was introduced to the word claustrophobia.
Yeah, same here.
Had to have been.
Yeah. So they reuse the claustrophobia, and they reuse that again, not in the next episode, but the next episode.
They do kind of harp on that a lot in this first season.
They do. You find out more about Storm than anybody else.
Yes. It's all because, like, oh, she had claustrophobia from when she was a kid. Is this before or after she was a goddess? She wasn't actually a goddess. They just worshipped her like she was because of her mutant ability to control the weather. Blah, 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 blah.
Uh-huh.
Except she had a life apparently before she was thought of as a goddess.
Yeah, apparently she was a street urchin.
And apparently she was both black and white. According to this show.
Yeah.
The that's a little bit of a color error.
Yeah.
Oh, also I noticed in this, this was the first episode where, at least on the Disney Plus versions that we're watching, the opening sequence is smooth, like I remember it being. There's some weird glitching on every episode before this in the opening sequence.
Oh, okay. So they must have cleaned it up.
Or something.
Yeah.
Maybe the masters for this aren't as glitched.
or it could be because like the first 2 episodes they've started like tightening things up a little more. That could be it.
Maybe,
the
I don't
original.
know. It could just be that the first 2 episodes had a weird glitch in the editing
That could be.
when they added it to it, and that's what caused it. I don't know. But this was the first one I watched and go, this is what I remember. This doesn't look janky like the first 4 episodes opening themes did. Because of course I'm gonna watch this opening theme every time it comes on. It's a great opening theme song.
Agreed. So this, oh my gosh, the blooming, not blooming, but the underlining romance, the triangle between Jean, Cyclops,
And Wolverine.
Wolverine.
I love how we just call him Wolverine. We never call him Logan.
Yeah, we just call him like.
Do they ever mention his name as Logan? Oh, they did a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, Jean mentions him as Logan.
Okay, I forgot. It's like
Scott always calls him Wolverine.
Well, Scott calls if Jean Grey wasn't just going by Jean Grey at this point,
We call her Marvel Girl.
He'd be calling her Marvel Girl, and when they're leaving the Phantom of the Opera, because she just calls him Cyclops. It's like, you know, his name is Scott, right? He's not named Cyclops.
It's like a childhood nickname. Be like, hey, Cyclops is like, what?
Yeah, it's like because of the visor. But anyway,
He's not even wearing a visor.
he's wearing a visor. He's wearing the wrong sunglasses right now.
Yeah, they're brown.
He must have got out to the car without burning a hole in anything. I realized, oh crud, I forgot my sunglasses. Gee, can I borrow yours?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Like,
I actually could see Scott, as someone who used to wear glasses. I'm
Okay.
sure you understand this too, because
Mhm.
you wear glasses. You forget you have them on after a while.
you do.
So I imagine it has to be the same with his visor.
Yeah.
He forgets he's got it after a while and just goes out to the car. He's wearing normal clothes, but he's got his visor on and goes, oh crap, we're about to go into town. I can't wear the visor into town. And I don't know where my sunglasses is. Gene, can I borrow yours? And I say, okay, yeah, thank you. Close my eyes, take the visor off, put the sunglasses on. Ah, that's better.
It somehow doesn't.
How do the ruby ones make sense?
Yeah.
To some degree. It can be, to use the Marvel term, no prized.
Okay.
Because like, oh, somehow the ruby lenses are absorbing the optic blasts.
That is not going out the side of the sunglasses.
They're special sunglasses.
Okay.
They're magnetically pulling the optic.
Yeah.
You know, this whole thing is just him being nervous about being a mutant in the first place. So we don't know that in this story yet by the time this show came out. But
oh my gosh. But anyways.
We don't even know Scott's got a brother yet in this show.
No, not yet. No, he does pop up later.
He does pop up much later.
Yeah. But I enjoy the story for what it is. The idea that the leader of the Morlocks is, oh, we need to.
It's so 90s it hurts.
It does.
She is so 90s it hurts. She's more 90s than Jubilee.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Because it's like, you look like you just walked out of the pages of the X-Force. I had to think of what the one was that Cable was in for so long. And that's I think that's X-Force.
Yeah, it's X-Force.
Yeah. I'm sorry. There were what, 15 X-Men books at this time?
Yeah, there were. So, oh my gosh. Like,
Can't be expected to remember all their names.
That's true. The story's good. The animation is so just like, there's so many animation errors going on the entire time. I'm like, wait a minute. What? Hold on. What?
Well, they're not used to having this many people on screen at one time.
I agree, but it's almost like you have to be like, point out the error. What's going on now?
Yes. You have to remember, when I read just as many names on just the guest cast list for this, as I did when I was reading everybody's name in Night of the Sentinels.
Right. Oh yeah, it's
too many people in this for how long they're in the scene.
I agree.
So I'm surprised it's not worse. The animation's not worse.
I agree. At least the animation's better than season 4.
No, it's 5.
Oh, 5. That's worse.
5 is like, we gotta hire a whole nother studio. We'll see how bad that is later.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
But like the story's good. I love
September.
Huh?
In September.
in September. So when like this underlying thing of like the triangle between
Mhm.
Wolverine, Jean, and Scott. I love how they're playing into that. I love how they do that, and definitely how Wolverine be like, he gets his rejection and he goes pouts off and runs off.
It's like Wolverine's missing. Dun dun dun. It's like,
Uh,
why are you telling me it's to be continued? This is what this show is. I mean, this is to be continued from the last episode, which didn't directly connect.
yeah.
Also, did you notice? I think it was this episode. It may have been the next one. I don't remember.
Hmm.
The painting error on the X Mansion in the establishing shot.
Oh yeah, it's off.
It's off completely. They've got the windows on the walls.
To go back and watch that. Oh my!
Good night. It's like, did you have a 4-year-old color this?
Like, what were you painting in the dark?
Yeah. It's like, how did you get it off this much? I
Oh.
understand it being out of registration. That can happen. And I get that the way this was shot, the way that matte painting was shot, you
Mhm.
probably had the black layer sitting on top of, all the other colors. But it's like, how did you get it off that much? You had to try for that.
And the one that got me was the previously on X-Men. Be like they're showing all the clips from the previous episodes, and they're all out of order.
They're out of order. And all those scenes, there's somebody talking in them because this is X-Men from the 90s. They never shut up.
That is
But
true.
no point throughout entire last time on X-Men, except for like 3 times you actually hear someone say something.
Mhm.
It's like, the show was not this quiet ever. Except for this one scene, apparently. This one last time on X-Men sequence where it's like, yeah, we're not going to quote and actually have any of the audio except for Sabretooth going, I'm going to escape.
Thanks, Curly.
Yes.
So 90s. Oh my gosh.
Well, I
but
think you do actually hear a Sentinel say something like, scanning for mutant life forms. It's like, this is such a weird thing to pick when you cut out everybody else's voice in this.
Oh, the one that got me, during that previous is where it's in the chemical lab. In
Yeah.
the chemical lab, it shows
The one
Magneto-
that the X-Men didn't need to go to because they didn't do anything.
No, they
But get
didn't.
in trouble.
So it's the scene where Magneto he's blowing everything up. And the next scene, it's Magneto coming in through the roof.
Yes.
It's like, why is this out of
To
order?
save Beast.
Yeah,
To break Beast out of jail last episode. The episode before that. It's like,
No, but it was in the
No, it
chemical.
was the- it
it
was
was the
like,
chemical.
well, then how did the chemical factory get blown up if Magneto's just now entering?
Yeah,
They were just editing stuff together fast.
yeah, that is
This
true.
is Fox Kids in the 90s. I
Very
mean,
true.
we're lucky we got what we got.
Yeah, that is true. So this episode, very good. Like as an adult watching it, it's like, wow, that's a lot of animation errors, but understanding there's a lot of characters.
There's a lot of characters, a lot of animation errors. At the same time, who cares? This is a fun episode.
I agree.
That's the great thing about this particular show in general. There are lots of issues because of how cheaply the show was actually
Mhm.
made, which you don't think about when you're looking back on them. But at the same time, this was cool.
It was.
This was epic. I remember tuning into this every day. I think I was actually more excited to watch X-Men than Batman. Put that in perspective.
Wow.
That's the difference in time periods at this time.
Agreed.
Granted, Batman is a much better written show.
Agreed.
I think I even knew that at the time, but it's like,
Mhm.
no, this is X-Men. We're going to have laser energy blasts come out from 5 different directions, even from the psychics. The psychics are somehow shoot lasers out of their heads.
It's
Okay,
comics.
you have to show it. You have to animate it somehow. I get that.
Mhm.
But it's like, it's just anyway. This isn't as weird as Magneto's electromagnet beams from 2 episodes ago
Oh gosh.
that kept changing color
It
as
did.
he was breaking Beast out of jail.
Oh my gosh. Episode 3. Anyways, good episode.
We do love the show, by the way. It's
Yes.
just fun to say, look at how bad this they did this.
It looks so weird.
It looks so weird. And it's like, oh, this is only going to get worse.
It worse. It worse.
Yeah, because they kept making the show cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah. But the next episode's actually done better.
Oh, yeah. because there was not much happening. I mean, there is stuff happening, but it's a lot calmer
Yeah.
than this one. This is not like thousands of Morlocks fighting not thousands, but a whole group of Morlocks fighting a whole group of X-Men. And then the next one was like Eskimos and
Wolverine
the beach.
and Sabretooth.
And guess what? The Geonosians don't like you people. But we'll get to that in the next one. Are you ready to jump into that?
Yeah, let's jump into that one.
All right. Cold Vengeance, directed by Larry Houston and written by Michael Edens. Original air date for this was February 6th, 1993. In this episode, Wolverine abruptly leaves the X-Men in the middle of the night, wary of Jean and Cyclops' relationship. He travels to the Arctic, where he encounters a vengeful Sabretooth.
He's pouting.
Wolverine is stranded in freezing waters following the fight and is rescued by Inuit villagers. He befriends the Inuit and finds some momentary peace in the village before Sabretooth shatters the illusion of peace again. Meanwhile, Gambit proposes a journey to investigate the rumor that Geonosia is a mutant-friendly island, much to the intense disapproval of Cyclops. Professor X, however, sees potential in his suggestion and approves the mission. Storm, Gambit, and Jubilee head to the mutant-loving island paradise of Geonosia. Guest cast includes Don Franks returning as Graydon Creed Sr., aka Sabretooth.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Haddad as Kiwek. Unknown actors played Puyata, villagers, receptionist, and the Geonosian commander.
Huh.
I love the fact that we have people we have no idea who voiced them in this show.
You think after almost 30 years, you think they've figured it out?
Unless they were like random people working for Fox Kids or Saban that they said, hey, you want to come, jump in here.
20 years.
Yeah,
20 years. Not
30 years.
Oh, it is 30.
30 years.
It is 30 years. That's right. Never mind.
It's like, hey, accountant from who's working with the people over in working with Toei to get that Super Sinti show over here. You want to jump in and voice this this receptionist at the hotel?
We'll pay you. We promise.
Hey, it's like, hey, you ever wanted to be a voice actor on a kid's show?
Here you go.
Here you go. Yeah. In this, getting into the trivia for this episode, as I mentioned earlier, while Logan's picture of Jean and Scott is different, it does have a hole burned into it. While never shown on X-Men, in the comics, Wolverine is known for smoking cigars, and this is likely a reference to that.
Oh.
But yet we don't mention the fact that Wolverine scratched it in half the last episode.
Oh my gosh.
According to where I got this trivia, the phrase "revenge is a dish best served cold" is an old proverb whose origins are unknown. Except 10 years prior to this, we learned that it is an old Klingon proverb. In Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I'm sorry, as far as I'm concerned, it is an ancient Klingon proverb. I don't care where it actually came from. In this episode, Gambit does a French spin on the classic proverb, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy."
Yes.
Kiwek's hat of the letter D in what appears to be Old English font. This is similar to the Detroit Tigers logo, but does not use their colors. Pan Am is likely a reference to Pan Air is likely a reference to Pan American World Airways, often called Pan Am.
Mm-hmm.
The company was the most popular airline until its collapse in 1991, just 2 short years before this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was very popular to reference in fiction and still is done today.
Yeah.
The Inuit are the indigenous people of Alaska, Canada, and Greenland. So I like now I'm going to just think they're in Greenland.
But they say the Arctic.
Greenland is in the Arctic.
You're right. That's true.
It's all in the Arctic.
That is true. But they say it's northern Canada, which is probably
okay. There is an island between Greenland and Canada that until recently was disputed territory between Canada and Greenland. I'm going to claim that's where this episode takes
okay,
place,
fine then.
because now they actually put a border on that island. So now there's technically a border between Canada and Denmark, because Greenland is technically owned by Denmark.
Ah, okay.
Canada and Denmark are nowhere near each other, and it just seems weird to think they share a border now. Anyway,
Yeah.
the Inuit canoes are called umiak,
Mhm.
and Inuit tents are called tupik.
Hmm.
Interesting little notes.
Interesting.
The act of throwing people into the air on a big blanket for Inuits is called nalukatak. I probably said that wrong. I apologize. It is typically done in the spring to mark the end of the whaling season, providing a general time frame for this episode.
Huh.
In Captive Hearts, Logan's room is fairly neat, but here it is a mess. Scott and Jean are wearing different clothes from the previous episode, even though it's supposed to take place directly after. Scott went from a button-up shirt and tie to a turtleneck. Jean went from her dress to a button-up blouse.
So they saw the
They
room.
couldn't even keep Jean's dress the same throughout the last episode, and now they're just like, we're going to give up on the dress, put her in a blouse.
I was so shocked. My thought would be is like, okay, they go to one scene, they're wearing something else, and they alter it to the next scene. It's like, can you guys make up your mind?
But here's an idea, because remember because we didn't mention that Logan's room was a mess this episode, but was clean in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing, the last episode showed that Logan's room is at the end of the hall, but in this one, the hall continues past his room. It is also perpendicular to where it was before. Perhaps in the last episode, he wasn't in his room. A theory. An X-Men theory. Let's keep watching. Logan is in the room, is in room 3 with 11 directly across. Continuing on from the last point. The X-Men must have a very odd numbering pattern for the two to be directly across from each other. In the previous episode, the picture Logan has of Scott and Jean was cut in half, while in this episode is burned in the middle. Also, the placement of the couple are switched. Either the pictures are inconsistent, or Logan has an odd fascination with keeping multiple photos of the couple.
Oh my gosh.
In the first establishing shot of the mansion, this is actually what I was talking about earlier, the lines and colors are not properly aligned. The episode implies the war room is underneath the mansion, whereas Deadly Reunion showed it at ground level. Yep. Captive Hearts ended with Gambit sick, though recovering. In this episode, he is perfectly fine with no indication of his severe illness.
Ay, ay, ay.
If Cyclops wants the X-Men to appear as non-mutant tourists, then sending Gambit is a bad idea since the powers changed his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
When Sabretooth sees Logan in the boat, no one is actually steering the craft.
That is true.
It's understandable that Logan would take his Wolverine outfit with him. Why does he have both a ski outfit and his civilian outfit as well as and is constantly switching between the two?
That is true.
For trying to act like tourists, Gambit does a horrible job as he's wearing his X-Men uniform. Worse yet, Aurora calls him Gambit instead of his real name of Remy.
Remy level.
Hang on. Okay. Jubilee wears a sweater to go to a tropical island.
Yeah. Nice job, Jubilee.
She says she didn't know what to pack.
That is true.
When getting into the taxi, Aurora and Gambit get into the back, though the passenger side, but Jubilee isn't seen on the driver's side nor in the front passenger seat.
She caught another cab.
I guess.
It'd be like you let the teenager go, be like, oh, she'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
She'll be fine.
She didn't know what to bring on a trip to a resort. Surely she'll be able to get to the resort from the airport by herself. Meanwhile, Jubilee turns up in the back alley with her spleen missing.
My gosh.
The Geonosian receptionist sees footage that no one could possibly get. The same ones they keep reusing, which is just reused footage from Night of the Sentinels Part 1. When first seen in full costume.
And looking through Storm's eye, of all things.
Yes. When first seen in full costume, Wolverine's bare arms are colored yellow like his costume.
They are.
When Sabretooth confronts Wolverine and Kiowek, The bombs placed on either side of the bridge are not there.
They are.
They are
Are.
not.
Yeah,
They're
that's what I meant.
missing. Wolverine wears a mask that covers his eyes, while the snow can block his vision. It certainly wouldn't get into his eyes.
You're right. It wouldn't. I was like, you're wearing, yeah, it's like, that makes no sense.
When Kiowek tackles Sabretooth from behind, he is briefly animated over Sabretooth.
He is.
Instead of using his claws immediately, Wolverine pulls the ropes apart to free the tribe, which would be ineffective and inefficient.
That makes no sense.
When the bombs are thrown off the bridge, the shot shows the ropes have been cut underneath and are hanging down. Jubilee's window becomes covered, but none of the other windows are. This immediately follows Captive Hearts. First appearance of Canada, though not named. Reveals that Logan is from Canada, or at least considers it home. First appearance of Sabretooth since Deadly Reunions, but is also the first time in the series he appears without Magneto being seen or mentioned. Kiowek calls Sabretooth a snow demon, which is something similar to the legend of the Wendigo. Hulk would fight Wendigo in the Incredible Hulk episode, and the wind cries, Wendigo. Appropriately, Wendigo has been a villain to Wolverine as well as Hulk, and interrupting their battle in Wolverine's first appearance in the comics. This is the first appearance of Genosha. Both Genosha and the Genosian Beach Inn were mentioned in the premiere episode Night of the Sentinels Part 1. This is the only appearance of the Genosha Beach Inn. The receptionist watches foot. I said that. Sentinels last appeared in Night of the Sentinels Part 2. This is the second time Jubilee is captured by the Sentinels. Slave Island is the very next episode, and Rogue and Beast do not appear, nor are they mentioned. What are your thoughts on this episode?
I enjoy where Sabretooth and Wolverine actually fight. The animation is so well done. I like the point where they're tossing and tumbling over each other, throwing each other. It's like they actually use references in this.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's actually impressive. Man, like a lot of the animation of this episode is very impressive. The story itself of Wolverine just can't catch a break because Sabretooth just wants to torment him. And yet we don't understand why yet. We understand later. But right now, it's just like, why is this big, ugly cat man following Wolverine around? Obviously, they have a history. We don't know why. Like, they're again,
we've not even mentioned anything. All we really know is that they know each other, and we saw people who, if you had read the comics, you'd know were part of the Weapon X program by this point. But they've not mentioned anything about Logan's actual past.
Exactly.
On the other hand, we know so much about Storm because of her claustrophobia. I have nothing against the character of Storm, even though she's traditionally my least favorite X-Men. X-Man, whatever the term is.
X-Man.
But it is weird how she's had so much development for someone who just causes the weather to do all these amazing things while talking like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She's a weird character.
She enunciates everything, which be like, I like.
She is always in her goddess voice.
I've always liked
the fact
Storm.
no one here thinks her as a goddess here.
I like Aurora. Is there?
Yeah, Aurora. I know why.
Storm.
Let's just call her Storm.
Yeah, Storm. But it's like we know hardly nothing about Gambit at all, except he's Cajun and he throws cards and he likes Rogue. That's about it. And everybody else we know about this much.
And we barely know anything about Rogue either.
Yeah. But we know so much about Storm.
Like, I've got claustrophobia. It's going to come up real important next time. Also, I'm now the leader of the Morlocks. Why? Why did you pick her? Anyway,
because it's like, I think it's part of the characters.
I'm sure that's how it is in the Comics too. Yeah. It's just,
but like,
although I think Angel was the one that got captured in the comics, not Cyclops. But anyway,
yeah. So I enjoyed this episode. I enjoy where it's Wolverine. He can't get rid of the snarly Sabretooth and his constant be like, revenge is mine. Be like, I'm gonna watch you die. It's like, darn, you're like,
why can't I beat you, Wolverine? Why won't you die?
Because Wolverine is plot armor.
At the moment,
actually,
let me rephrase. Wolverine doesn't need plot armor. He's freaking Wolverine. This man could probably he could probably heal his adamantium from a single cell at this point. True. He's probably, despite how he got the adamantium, it's probably not part of his DNA, and just one single cell could probably grow another Wolverine with adamantium claws. It can't actually, but the way they treat Wolverine in these comics. Anyway,
but either or, be like, it's a good story. It's a bit like the Storm plots are just getting a little irritating a little bit, but I've always liked Storm.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it's just like,
she is supposed to be like the secondary leader of the X-Men, so it makes sense that there would be some character development.
Yeah,
it's just she's had more than Cyclops.
Yeah,
who is the actual leader of the X-Men.
Yeah,
all we really know about him at this moment is that he's in love with Jean Grey.
Yeah, that's it.
Who we also know nothing about.
Yeah,
we just learned last episode that she's psychic. Or telekinetic, at least.
Telekinetic.
She gets psychic later, but...
Yeah. And she goes a little birdie. And flamey. Yeah. But, oh my gosh. Like,
we'll get to that in season 3.
We'll get that in season 3. But overall, really enjoyed the story. Where it's going in Geonosis?
Geonosia.
Geonosis
is where Anakin Skywalker
and
Obi-Wan Kenobi got tied up.
Yeah.
This is Genosha.
Yeah.
I admittedly kept saying Geonosia throughout the trivia.
You did.
Because it's like, that's really what I know more is the Star Wars planet of the bug people instead of the mutant hating island. Of course, they mostly are the mutant hating island because of Magneto. Moving on.
But it's a good story. I like where
I am Magneto, master of magnet.
I love that clip. Oh yeah, it's fun. It's where's the story going? Where is at that point it's the B story. The B story, because Wolverine's the A story. And where the B story is going is interesting. I remember watching this a couple of years ago, and it's like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Now watching it for the review, it's just like, okay.
It's like, perhaps, just perhaps, you shouldn't ask about their mutant discount program.
Yeah, Gambit.
Hey, maybe save 10%. Maybe 10% is. Maybe you'll get 10% off of your sleeve labor in the next episode.
My thought would be is like,
got to build that airport.
Yeah,
I assume that's what they're building in the next one.
Who knows? I don't remember. But
why I keep thinking airport. It's like they have an airport.
But we will get
we'll
there.
Get there when we get there next week.
Yeah,
after we see more bloody murder in the Mushroom Kingdom.
I'm actually looking forward to the third and fourth part.
The animation gets a lot better.
Okay.
There's also a very strange coincidence in the next one.
Okay.
But we'll get there when we get there.
All right.
Anything else to add on this?
No, I don't. I actually don't.
All right. Next week, the episodes we will be reviewing are Slave Island and The Unstoppable Juggernaut. So join us next week for that. In the meantime, though, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. his Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, his Twitter at Jacob Heron, and his Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen, his Facebook page Drew's Photo Bin to see his photography, his Letterboxd page at ggeorge759, his Twitter at ggeorge759, and Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast, on Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming, on YouTube at Cellcast, on Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell, with a single L.
This one's for you, Mario.